Today on MLB The Show 24, we will be simulating the career of a 99 overall two-way player inside of franchise mode. Before we get started though, we've got to meet our creation. This is Octi Bokti, made off of yours truly. One of the underrated addition of women being added into the game this year is that there's now women's hairstyles, and I can finally make a character that actually looks like me. I matched the equipment, had us stand next to each other, and to be honest, I don't think I can tell the difference. The one change that I have from my real self to Octi Bokti here is that I made him 6'7", 235 pounds. Obviously, I am not 6'7", 235 in real life, and if I was, I would probably be in the league. Now we have to pick a team for our new two-way player, Octi Bokti, to go to. I spun it randomly, and sure enough, it lands on the Pittsburgh Pirates. So this is where we're going to be starting our career as a two-way player for the Pirates. A talented up-and-coming young team, and hopefully we can build something special. Obviously, Octi Bokti is regarded as the best prospect in baseball, best prospect in the organization, and top starting pitcher. Looks like I beat out Paul Skeens here. So we're going to slide in as the ace of the rotation and the number 3 hitter in the lineup. For now, he's only going to play DH, but once he becomes a full two-way player, he'll be able to play other positions. So we're going to simulate to the end of his rookie season and see how things go. Ultimately, the Pirates ended up doing pretty solid, going 86-76, good enough to win the division, which, I mean, the NL Central stinks, but a win is a win. As for Octi Bokti, he is regressing in some areas very slightly, but had a dominant rookie season. Great year on the mound, 2.84 ERA, and a WAR on the season of 5.5. At the plate, 43 home runs, 304 batting average, OPS above 1,000, finishing the year with a WAR of close to 9. Our combined WAR on the season was over 14. Obviously, that's going to be enough to win the MVP, the Cy Young, and pretty much any other major award that we would be up for. Let's see how the Pirates do in the playoffs here in our first season, taking on the Padres, getting to start in Game 1, which we win, and sure enough, our other pitchers ultimately blow it. I did my part, hit a home run, hit 364, and won the first game, but the other guys not so much. That brings us into season number 2. Now we are 19 years old, and I expect much of the same here for Octi Bokti. Dominance here as he's joined by Paul Skeens in the rotation. Our team had a great year, 93-69. Nice. We get to play the Padres again in the playoffs. As for Octi Bokti, another big year. Even better on the mound, 2.37 ERA. Pretty much everything pitching-wise statistically improved. Lower whip, more strikeouts, less hits allowed, etc. Finishing with a WAR of 7.4. Offensively, more home runs, higher batting average, higher OPS, finishing with pretty much an identical WAR at 8.6 and a combined WAR on the season above 16. We won the MVP and the Cy Young again, but can we get over the hump and beat the Padres? I do my part, I win my game, and thankfully we beat them. We've got the Dodgers in the NLDS. We're already up 2-0, and we sweep them. How about that? But now we've got to beat the Braves in the next round as we lose the first game. I was on the mound for that one. I lose another game here as well, and unfortunately we lose the NLCS in 5 as the Braves lose to the Rangers in the World Series. That brings us into Season 3. I've got a new look, as you'll notice. I have to join my mustached brethren, Paul Skeens, so we're rocking the stash for the foreseeable future. Our team did not have as good of the year, though. 82-80, not good enough to make the playoffs for the first time in our career. Despite that, though, it certainly was not our fault. Another very strong season, pitching-wise, pretty similar to what we've done over the past couple of years, hitting-wise as well. Career low in homers, but still great average, great OPS, and a position WAR of 9.4. Despite that, we did not win the MVP or finish second. We did a better job as a two-way player than Shohei Ohtani, and both of us lost to Ozzie Albies, who doesn't even pitch. So let's make it into season number 4. We're going to move a little bit faster now through the rest of Octi Bokti's first major league contract. We are 3 years in, and we've got 3 years to go before we would theoretically be a free agent. So far, we have done pretty well with the Pirates. We have won a ton of awards, multiple MVPs, multiple Cy Youngs. Let's see if we can keep it going now with the mustache. So here in season number 4, we would end up having another pretty good season, of course, individually. As for the team, 104-58. I think the Pirates are the #1 ranked team in the game. I've got to say they've done a pretty good job adding to this roster, but we ended up losing in the first round. Of course, Octi Bakti won the MVP, although he did not win the Cy Young. Instead, that went to our mustache brethren, Paul Skeens. In 2028, the team won triple-digit games again. This time, we would get to play against the Braves, and similarly to last year, we lose in the first round. This season was the first time that Octi Bakti was not in the top 3 for MVP or Cy Young. Statistically, he certainly took a step back, by far his worst season pitching and hitting as well. Sub-300 average, OPS quite a bit below 1,000, and a career low in WAR. Still a great season from him, but a little bit of a downturn as we enter the final year of his contract with the Pittsburgh Pirates. After this year, he'll no longer be in team control. He'll be a free agent. The team ended up having a disastrous season. Octi Bakti individually was about as good as he was last year. He took another step back on the mound and offensively, but should still command a big payday, whether that's from the Pirates or somebody else in free agency. The accolades are all there, and even though he has played worse as a pitcher and a hitter, he's still probably the best player in baseball. He wants, as you can imagine, a whole lot of Cole's cash, just like he's Kirk Cousins. Believe it or not, though, the Pirates would not offer him a contract going into free agency. They only gave him the qualifying offer. It looks like Octi Bakti is going to find a new home, and sure enough, he would sign a 9-year deal with the Baltimore Orioles for $344 million. So Octi Bakti is going to the American League East. He's leaving one of our former franchise teams here on the channel for another one in Baltimore, who has added to the roster with guys like Rafael Devers. They still have Jackson Holliday. They still have Adley Rutschman. But they've lost a ton of the depth that they had previously, and their rotation's really bad with Grayson Rodriguez leaving this year in free agency. Since every Orioles prospect looks the exact same, I decided to do the same with Octi Bakti and shade the mustache. I can't tell the difference now between him and Jackson Holliday, other than the 6'7", 230 pounds. So let's simulate to the end of his first year as an Oriole. The team ended up doing quite well, won the division, 94 wins. As for Octi Bakti, by far his worst year as a pitcher. His ERA was in the 4s. Offensively, pretty similar, less than 40 homers. The slash line was around the same. Still a great year, but he's not the same player he was earlier in his career with the Pirates. We're going to play against the Astros here in the first round of the ALDS in 2030, as we would lose both games that we pitched in. Awesome. In 2031, the team would win 91 games, grabbing a wild card spot. In terms of the pitching, the ERA was way down. That's a win. All of his other numbers were pretty much the same, though. He's still not the pitcher he once was with the Pirates, but it's good to see the ERA lower. Had a career low in WAR, interestingly, and then offensively. This is what we're talking about. 44 homers, 300 batting average. Now he seems to be doing a little bit better. As we play against the Rangers in the wild card round, we end up winning our start and we sweep them. Now against the New York Yankees, sweep them again. In the ALCS, we're going against the Angels. We win the first game with Octi Bakti on the mound. Unfortunately, Octi Bakti would get injured in that first game, and sure enough, after being up 3-1, we would blow the series. So all because Octi Bakti got injured, the first real injury of his entire career. He's only missed like 6 or 7 games so far. His team chokes in the playoffs, and we could have gotten him to his first ever World Series. Unfortunately, our twin, Jackson Holliday, is gone. He signs with the Guardians, so because of that, we are going to ditch the frat boy look, and now that we're a little bit older in our 9th season, we're going to go with the beard. So a new look for Octi Bakti. He's grown out the facial hair a little bit, and clearly it didn't work. Our team did not make the playoffs. Octi Bakti individually had an unbelievable season pitching-wise. Where has this come from? 2.22 ERA, the best of his career. And then hitting-wise, 322 average. That's what we're looking for. Even though the team did worse, Octi Bakti did better. So I guess it's kind of a win. In his 10th season, the team went 81-81, and for the first time in his career, he's no longer a 99 overall. He is beginning to regress. Being that he's been in the league 10 years, I imagine this will continue to be a trend, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last of Octi Bakti at his peak. His numbers certainly took a nosedive this year, and I worry the second half of that contract is not going to age well. 73 wins here in 2034. We only dropped 1 rating, though. That's good. Pitching-wise, one of his best seasons in a while, although we only played half the season due to an injury. Offensively, our best season as an Oriole, but got hurt. First year, we didn't make the All-Star team as well because, well, again, we were injured. 73 wins in 2035. Ever since our team choked the ALCS, we have missed the playoffs for 4 years in a row, really not recovering from our 3-1 choke. Again, we only regressed by 1, so we go down to a 95, although unfortunately the numbers this year were really not good. 4.75 ERA, 273 average, only 27 home runs, and we were healthy for all 162 games. By far the worst year of Akti Bhakti's career. So this is where things would get a little bit interesting. We're finally back in the playoffs 5 years later. Akti Bhakti goes down to a 93, but he had a much better season individually, and clearly that helped the team's success. Now the offense took even more of a nosedive, so even though he improved his pitching, offensively not great. First time with an OPS below 800, and look who we're going against in the first round. The Angels. We ended up losing our start, and we lose the series. So unfortunately, we're not able to get over the hump against the Angels, who won the World Series. In 2037, we missed the playoffs again, although interestingly, as a pitcher, we're not regressing, and on offense, we're getting better. I don't know how that's possible with 14 years in the league, but okay, we are progressing. Pretty mediocre season, though, statistically, pitching-wise, and on offense. Pretty good, but again, we missed a decent chunk of the year with an injury. Nonetheless, it's good to see him getting better, despite the fact that he's now in his 30s, which leads me to believe that he should play pretty well into his 30s as we enter the final year of his contract next year. The 9-year, $300+ million deal is up, and in his final season of this contract with the Orioles, the team would again miss the playoffs, his rating would go up to a 94. He's continuing to get better. Statistically, one of his best seasons as a pitcher in a while. Offensively, played the whole year healthy and was quite good, WAR at around 6.5. So since he seems to be getting better, this should certainly help himself in free agency. Is this a matter of him playing well during a contract year, or is this a sign of things to come? Unlike Pittsburgh, the Orioles are actually giving him a contract offer, believe it or not, although they signed the highest rated free agent right away. So that made me believe that we were going to be on a new team. But that's not going to be the case. The Orioles would re-sign Akti Bhakti to a 4-year deal, and now we have a nasty two-headed monster at the top of the rotation with this guy, Henry French, and of course, Akti Bhakti. So now we enter Akti's 16th MLB season, 94 overall, 33 years old. We're getting pretty close to some big milestones as well. 3,000 hits is presumably going to be on the horizon, hopefully, as Akti Bhakti would go up again. 95 overall, getting better on offense. Great season pitching-wise. At the plate, not so much, but he had a really good year as a pitcher. That's something. 84 wins is not going to be enough to get to the playoffs here. The Orioles have only made it once in the last pretty much decade since our ALCS choke, and it looks like Akti's really starting to go down now in his 17th season. He loses 4 rating points down to a 91. And being that his regression seemed to be pretty consistent with all of his attribute points, I think this is going to be a sign of things to come, and I think he's going to continue to fall for good this time. Now, I will say we are pretty close to 3,000 hits. We should hit that milestone this next season. We're only around 50 away. Here we are at the end of May, and Akti Bhakti is 2,999 hits. There are some other milestones he could be chasing, such as 4,000 strikeouts, 600 home runs. But this is the one that I think is going to be the biggest one, and obviously it's the most realistic, being that, well, we're 1 away. At Dodger Stadium against the Los Angeles Dodgers, Akti Bhakti looks for hit number 3,000 of his illustrious Major League career. The beard has gotten bigger and grayer over the last couple of years, being that he's gotten older and hopefully wiser, as he looks to join history with his 3,000th hit against Dodgers starting pitcher Andrew Erickson, who has an ERA in the 6s. So I guess there's a pretty good shot that we might do this. I decided to go with a funky batting stance. We're rocking George Valera's. I've always liked the foot out, as Akti Bhakti strikes out in his first at-bat of the game, playing DH here for the Orioles. Into the 3rd inning, Baltimore leads 1-0. Akti Bhakti pops it up. This one's got a chance, and it will be caught. There's pretty much no one recognizable on the field for the Dodgers. Every relevant player in Major League Baseball is very, very old. As we go into the 5th, and we've got a hit, but not a base hit, a hit by pitch. And Akti Bhakti takes his base. 3-0 now into the 7th. First pitch swinging, rips it into right, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Akti Bhakti's 3,000th big league hit. He does it as a Baltimore Oriole. A pretty exciting moment here as he daps up the first baseman, getting some love from the Dodger crowd. I don't know how much longer Akti Bhakti's got. He's already gone down by 2 or 3 points this year in rating, and I imagine it's going to get worse and worse, only with a year and a half left on this contract with the Baltimore Orioles. But nonetheless, an exciting moment for our guy, Akti Bhakti. He now has 3,000 hits, cementing what has most certainly been an incredible Hall of Fame career. And here it is in the player card, 3,000 hits in all of its glory. Let's simulate to the end of the year. The team ended up winning 100 games. The one big thing that Akti Bhakti's never done is win a World Series. He's not even in the lineup as an everyday player anymore, although offensively, even though he's taken a step back, he's still productive. And as a pitcher, another pretty solid season, although he's having a harder and harder time staying healthy for a full year as he enters the last year of his contract next year. Sure enough, our team didn't do anything in the playoffs that year, and in his final season with the Orioles, he goes down to an 81 overall, now being used primarily as a reliever, being that the other starters are higher rated. Barely played on offense because the other batters are just better at this point. And now here he is as a free agent. I imagine there's going to be a lot less interest in him, but he would sign somewhere. Where is Akti Bhakti's new home going to be likely for the end of his career? And he's going to the Yankees, staying in the American League East. Hopefully he can be a short porch merchant. No playoffs here for Akti Bhakti in his 20th MLB season. He would stay in the pitching rotation the entire year and was pretty good, actually one of his better pitching years in a while. But he did not get a single at bat. The Yankees are not using him as a position player. He is only pitching, and with his contract only being 1 year, he goes back to free agency as a 76 overall. The Yankees are going to give him an offer to come back, and sure enough, Akti Bhakti would take that for his 21st big league season, 76 overall, back with the Yankees on a $10 million deal for 1 year. The Yankees would make the playoffs. Could this be Akti Bhakti's final chance as a World Series? All the way down to a 70 overall. I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last year as a pitcher. Not completely horrific, and again, did not get an at-bat offensively, which sucks because we could have been a Yankees Stadium merchant. Let's see how the team is able to do, though, in the playoffs as we play against the Rays here in the first round, and we get swept. So no championship here for the Yankees. Akti Bhakti still ringless through 21 MLB seasons, and sure enough, he would not be signed going into the 2045 season. I wouldn't be surprised if he just sticks around in free agency until he retires. Well, sure enough, the wait would not last long. After just 1 season in free agency, Akti Bhakti, the two-way player, will call it a career as a 63 overall at the age of 40 after 21 incredible seasons in the major leagues. 6 with the Pirates, 13 with the Orioles, and 2 with the Yankees, finishing with over 3,000 hits, just shy of 600 home runs, just shy of a 300 batting average. Wow, we really missed out on some of these milestones. I think Akti's peak was definitely early in his career with the Pirates as a position player, a WAR well over 100. His pitching WAR was around the 80s as well, so his combined WAR would have been a hair under 190, which is obviously amongst the greatest of all time. Babe Ruth is the all-time leader in WAR at 182.6, and I think Akti Bhakti's number would be higher than that. So Akti has the highest WAR in the history of Major League Baseball. He finished 10 strikeouts away from 4,000 as well. We barely missed out on 4,000 Ks, 600 homers, and a 300 batting average. 4 MVPs, 3 of which were before his 22nd birthday. 4 Cy Youngs, although again, 3 of them were before he was legally able to drink. 13-time All-Star, whole bunch of other awards. Statistically, maybe the greatest career in MLB history. He did not win a championship, though. He never made it to the World Series, let alone won one. But he's going to make it here into the Hall of Fame, of course, as a Baltimore Oriole. What a career for our two-way 99 overall, Akti Bhakti. So that'll wrap up the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed and are excited for more MLB The Show 24 franchise content. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.